Welcome to the Gal's Guide to the Galaxy podcast, where a group of gals gather for you one cool thing around our topic of the month. Is it ancient history? Is it breaking news? Is it safe for work? Well, that's up to each gal. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Welcome back. I am Leah, and I am joined by Katie, Bonnie, and Cammie about our one cool advertising thing. We have already talked about the documentary Misrepresentation. We talked about Mary Wells Lawrence, and we talked about Nike's Women's World Cup commercials. But before we dive back in, let's get to know something random about our gal pals. I want to know, what do you ladies think of celebrity endorsements? When they put your favorite, or maybe not so favorite, celebrities in with a product to tell you about it. Good, bad, or ugly? Thoughts?
I'd like to tell you they don't influence me, but that is incorrect.
Correct.
Right.
They do.
I feel like I've gotten slightly better, but...
At resisting, basically, the power.
Right, but I've been very susceptible to these because there's definitely actors that you've seen in favorite things or you think are super cool, and you feel like you might trust their opinion when really, logically, most of them are probably just doing it for a paycheck.
It's a paycheck.
Yeah.
It's a really nice
it's a great
paycheck.
Product or anything like that, but... It took me a bit to get that.
Yeah. Sometimes a celebrity wants a free car for life.
Yeah. I get that. I'll
Right?
take one. Yeah.
I mean, has anyone really bought the car just because Matthew McConaughey is in that commercial?
I did not buy a Lincoln because of Matthew McConaughey.
Lincolns now frighten me because of Matthew McConaughey's voiceovers when he talks about them.
They are random as hell, but we were test driving and I was looking at the Lincoln. I'm like, yeah, but they chose Matthew McConaughey.
See?
That was the choice.
Advertising can work in the opposite direction,
It
too.
really can.
You're like,
Yeah.
oh. Yeah.
Because we ended up buying a Hyundai, and they had in the showroom a Marvel Iron Man edition.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we are some Marvel people, so that might have had some... some say of, oh, they support Marvel, we support Marvel.
If they had the Ant-Man and the Wasp purple car with the flames, I would have insisted that we had bought that car no matter how expensive it was.
Right. They are fantastic.
Second mortgage, guys.
I know, right? Just to buy fandom-led cars.
How about you, Bonnie? Can you resist the celebrity endorsement?
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to even think of any that I like. I know that there's one going around, and I don't know even what product's for. It's got Alton Brown, I think is his name.
Okay.
That funny chef guy.
Yeah.
He's in something.
Oh.
I don't remember what it is. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't need whatever we sell it.
I don't even remember what it is, but I know there's one. I was like, oh, yeah.
So it almost worked. It didn't work.
No, 'cause I used to watch that, and he's hilarious.
Yes. What was that show? Alton's Eats or something like that?
Something like it.
Yeah.
He'd like break down like the science of it. He was like nerdy with
Right.
it. He would have like puppets of like an octopus attacking him. Like, it's not your normal cooking show.
Exactly.
Great.
Oh, Cammie, do you have one? What do you think of celebrity endorsements?
My mind goes to the John Oliver native advertising bit where he does talk about celebrity endorsements, where it was a Rihanna endorsing coconut water.
Right.
Where it was I know you're getting paid, Riri. I'm happy for you. But
Right.
you and I both know that this tastes like crap.
Yeah. See, there's that.
And so I'm fine with the concept of them endorsing things. They get paid.
Right.
I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
But no, it does not really work on me because I don't pay attention to anything.
Right. There you go.
I feel like this is another thing where it's really important to educate people, and maybe a little, much easier than the influence maybe body image has and ideals. I don't know. I feel like it's a little easier to go, they're probably just doing that for the paycheck.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. I guess everybody's different. Maybe some people are like,
I think it's a clearer answer. It's not as complicated of an answer.
Right.
It's a culture and it's a body type and it's, it's what we're used to seeing. It's pleasing to the eye to see a thin blonde woman. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's more instead of, they got paid, Because I've seen some usually like Japanese or Chinese commercials where your heavy hitters, your George Clooney's, your Leonardo DiCaprio's, you know this screams paycheck. And it was not a small paycheck either, because they're selling some sketchy stuff.
There's some Japanese ads with Arnold Schwarzenegger in them.
Oh, yeah.
And they are hilarious. Like,
right?
Like heads get like blown up.
They are outrageous.
And then they like superimpose over his eyeballs or something. So it's still like Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice, but he's speaking Japanese.
Right.
And then his eyeballs get all big.
You're like, oh, he's doing the Total Recall thing, I'll bet you. Oh, no. Yeah. So, yeah. I have the behind the curtain thing. I go with the paycheck. But at the same time, like Cammie just talked about the Women's World Cup, and it's one of the narrators is Viola Davis. So Viola Davis lending her voice to Nike and lending her voice to the Women's World Cup, to me, I was like, good on you, Viola Davis. You know what I'm saying? So like sometimes it makes a celebrity almost elevate for me of going, this is what you chose to back. This is what you chose to get a paycheck for. Kudos. You're saying something. You're standing for something. So sometimes it can really, really motivate. But yeah, no, if Matthew McConaughey is just stumbling around words, then it's like, paycheck. So I guess it has to have, what's the intention here? Are they trying, like, do I feel like they believe in the product? But then I will also say, contrary to that is Old when no, not Old Spice, Brad Pitt. So when Brad Pitt decided to sell Chanel, do you remember this? There was standees that were like life size Brad Pitt. It was glorious, and I fully supported the idea of him trying to sell Chanel. And for a brief second, I went, do I need any? Do I? Because Brad Pitt suddenly is right there, and he's just looking at me. I feel like it was really, really weird, and I felt very bad about it. But at the same time, that man has power. But I didn't buy anything, but I really thought about it.
I don't want celebrity endorsements to go away for the sheer fact that Terry Crews and Old Spice ads.
Right, exactly.
Is one of my favorite things.
I want Terry Crews to continue to get a paycheck. So, I mean, that's where I'm at.
Plus, he's hilarious.
Exactly.
I just had another thought. How do you guys feel about celebrities that have lines, like clothing lines or kitchenwares at Target? Goop is scary.
Don't get me started.
That's a little deep.
I guess it depends on what it is.
What about who are those house remodeling people?
Yeah, like the house flippers
that are on Target and whatever that stuff is.
It's not the Grimes, but it's something with
the Scary Twin Brothers.
Because no, it's not the Property Brothers. It's the husband and wife.
Yeah, in Texas.
Yes.
Well, I finally watched their show. I hadn't, and I was like, oh, they have really good taste. And now I'm like, maybe I need to go to Target.
That's why Shiplap is everywhere because of them.
Shiplap, man.
We got rid of it in the 70s, and it's back now, but we call it Shiplap.
Do you guys like somebody's taste enough that you would purposely seek out their line, or does that get to you guys?
I think it always it comes from intention, where it's kind of like if it feels like it's in line with something that they're already doing or that they've already been interested in, and I'm trying to think of an example, and now I can't even think of one, so I guess I'm going to have to say no. But it's a wheelhouse thing. It's like, you know what? Stay within your wheelhouse. What are you really, really, really good at? But I will buy their books, though. That is a product that a celebrity will put out of I learned something, or I researched something, or this is my life, or this is my acting. You know what I mean? Prowess, like this is my knowledge. That I will totally 100% go in all in. But it's a book. Yeah.
So there's this lady I watch on YouTube. Her name is Christine. And
is she the weird one that does Halloween specials on Netflix? No, not that one. Okay, sorry.
She's Canadian, and she started out doing nail art tutorials.
Oh,
and she is freaking hilarious.
Nice.
I love this lady. And then her nail broke, so she couldn't do nail art tutorials. So she just started doing other things. She's amazing. She just launched a week or two ago. Well, later once this airs, but she launched her own holographic nail polish. She's like obsessed with holographic nail polish.
Right.
She launched her own line. She bought like she invested a whole bunch of her own money to do this.
But that makes sense. That's her wheelhouse. That's her intention.
It was gone in less than an hour.
Oh, wow.
So if it hadn't been gone,
you would have been all over it.
I'm watching to see if it gets restocked.
Yes.
But she's just an amazing person. She will do on her YouTube, they'll do t-shirts of her 2 cats, Minchie and Zyler, and the proceeds go to their local animal shelter.
Aww.
Like,
yeah.
they're great people.
See.
And she'll have like fan mail YouTube things where they're like going through all the mail that gets sent to them, and she's always like encouraging people to stay in school. They're like, you can't make, like, don't plan on being a YouTuber.
Yeah,
like,
right. This was not a job a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
so it might not be a job in a couple of years.
No, she's great.
Aww. See, I dig it. Perfect. Are you guys ready for my one cool thing?
So ready.
All right. Okay, cool.
Bring it.
My one cool thing, I went with an ad campaign whose purpose was not only to sell things, but also to make the world a better place. That was the intention of the ad. Because I'm very weary of commercials that are trying to sell me things. I'm always kind of like, what do you got behind the curtain? What am I going to fall for here? But this ad campaign broke right through all of my walls that I have built up of, no, I won't buy your stuff. It hit me right in the feels. And it's a company that brings you period pads. It's always, guys, always. I didn't think I'd be talking about periods again, so close to the fibroids episode that I did. But, always created this campaign, and it's hashtag LikeAGirl. And it started in 2014, so it's a little dated, but at the same time, still very relevant. So the commercial starts with a teenage girl. She's like finding her mark on a soundstage, and you can see the cameras and you can see the microphones. The clapboard snaps and you hear what you assume is the director's voice. Go, hi, Erin. So the director then decides to give her some actions to do. And the first action is run like a girl. And we see a variety of different teens then who are all on their marks, including an adult, actually, too, doing what we expect, which is a cartoon-style Betty Boop, arms flailing in the air, kind of run like a girl kind of scenario, complaining about their hair and all that stuff. Then the next action is show me what it's like to fight like a girl. And you get those elbows close together, and you get the playful pawing like a little kitten fight, all that. The third action is then throw like a girl. And the teens then mimic like really minimal effort of throwing, like the ball hitting the ground, stuff like that, not making any distance is what they mimic. So I'm holding my breath at this point, going, this commercial better get better, because I'm offended. I'm really kind of pissed. So what do you got here? Then they ask young girls the exact same question. So we're talking about a 10-year-old girl is the first girl that they show. So I'm scared. And I'm only like half a second to think, girl, don't believe the hype. You know what I mean? Don't believe the stereotype. Don't do it. Don't do what those other older adults and older teens did. And before I really can even like completely, beg, the girls are running their hearts out. They are shadow boxing with power. They are throwing using their entire body. And it's just freaking lovely. So at that point, I'm crying because these young girls haven't got that stupid message yet. They haven't got the cultural wet blanket, you know what I mean, that they can't do things. So instead, they're like fully still connected to that ultimate potential, that ultimate power that they have. And it's not naive because they just don't believe the hype, which is really kind of more of what I think of it. So on screen, the words then say, when did doing something like a girl become an insult? And that like hit me where I lived, y'all, because, growing up and even more when I went into filmmaking, it was as anything that was like a girl was an insult. It very much was. It was 2014 when I saw the first ad, but I heard men and women using that phrase of like a girl. And the day that I saw the commercial, I saw 3 other people use it that day. It was like online social media. I went out to the store and it was, you know what I mean? Like, oh, why are you hitting like a girl? Or, you know what I mean? You're doing that like a girl. And I got so mad that I went home and I wrote a blog about it, and I'll share it in the show notes because it's a little dated. But I wrote a blog about why is it an insult to be a girl? And it was this commercial that kind of like put it into my peripheries of really looking at it really closely. But back to the commercial. So on screen, it says a girl's confidence plummets during puberty, and a light bulb goes off in my analytical mind. Because again, I'm like weary of commercials, right? Like, what are you selling me? And I get it. Puberty. It's always pads. It's about periods. It's about puberty. They are really connecting this message and then also the confidence, linking them together. So Always is working to build a stronger connection to self-confidence when girls are at their lowest. I mean, it really kind of is your lowest. And I've lived it and I've seen it with my own girls, and it's like absolutely terrible because one minute you have a girl who's complete positivity. I can take on the world. I am queen of this universe. Don't stand in my way. I'm going to be president of the United States. And then the next minute is it okay if I exist today? Mm-hmm. And it's terrifying because it's completely like duality. So the people in the commercial talk about the ages between 10 and 12. And being told that your gender is weak and how damaging that is at that point in your life. And then the commercial, they turn it around and they give young girls advice on how to fight the negativity. I like that it, you know what I mean? It doesn't just like hit you where you live and then run away. Haha, figure it out. So it's really nice. It gives them advice. It says to not listen to them. If you're doing it, keep doing it. You know what I mean? You're worth it, sort of. Oh, sorry. You're worth it is a L'Oreal ad. But to take away that stigma, even if just for this, 1 minute commercial, they take away the stigma of it. And it ends with, why can't run like a girl also mean win the race? Redefining what run like a girl or throw like a girl is. So now the how the commercial actually even came to be is an interesting one. Because, y'all, I had to know the history of this. So in a Huffington Post interview, Fama Francisco is the vice president of Global Always. So the vice president of Always is a woman, y'all. Very happy about that, right? And she talks about how her and her team were looking at the data, and they found a significant drop in self-confidence when a girl hits puberty. That was in their data. And Fama said, quote, "The deep consumer insight and the understanding made us really step back and think about what are the things that are really contributing to that and how we can make a difference." I know she's in ads and I know she's selling something, but I believed it. And I'm like, I want to believe that they really want to make a difference. So the commercial is also directed by a woman. Woo! Lauren Greenfield. She's the one you see in the commercial that is giving the direction. I know her from the documentary Queen of Versailles. Did you guys ever see this Queen of Versailles? It's this blonde kind of bimbo-y lady, and it's meant to fight stereotypes, is in this house, and it's how she lives her life, and she's kind of having an existential crisis, if you will. And that is directed by Lauren Greenfield. So now because of this Always commercial, Lauren Greenfield went on to win tons of awards for it. Ad Age named her the most awarded director in 2015 because of this commercial. It won an Emmy. I didn't know
amazing. Commercials win Emmys?
Commercials win Emmys. I had no idea.
Wow.
So yeah, there's also a Meet the Director on YouTube, and that's how I found out that information as well. But Lauren calls the commercial a social experiment. That's why she was interested in it, because it's not scripted. They wanted to know what people would say about these different actions of Like a Girl, and then, kind of, see if they can change those perceptions a little bit. Because what I really love in what they chose to do in the social experiment is people's faces when they change perception, when they like click. There's a little boy who's in there, and he's in the teen version. So I would say he's probably like, 12, 13, 14, kind of like right in there. And he says that he insulted girls, but not his sister. And as he's saying that, he's realizing his sister is a girl.
Yeah.
And if he insulted girls, then he insulted his sister. But he saw them as separate. And it's like, oh, but just that micro expression of he gets it. And I don't think that kid's going to be the same after that.
That's incredible.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like something that's just absolutely amazing to share. You also get to see people change their mind. So the people who mimicked running, you know, in the stereotypical fashion, they say, would you want a chance to redo it? And they say, yes, please. I would run like myself. And so you get to see people change their minds. It's not just shaming people and making them feel bad. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I love that because it's very much Maya Angelou says, once you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
And it's showing it visually in a very quick commercial of once you know better, you just do better. You know, don't beat yourself up. Just freaking do better. That's it. So I really, really like that. And I will also say not everybody is miraculously changed with perceptions. I mean, I even do have a no asshole rule. I don't know if you guys know my no asshole rule, which is everybody's allowed to have a bad day. Bad days happen. But if a person is actively trying to put a person down or disempower people I love, I've got other places to focus my energy. So that's part of the if you know better, you do better sort of thing. They have two versions of this, and I'll share the longer one. It's like 3 minutes. And they put on YouTube anyway, the 3-minute one. Then they ran it during the Super Bowl, a 1-minute version. And that's when it became viral, when it ran on the Super Bowl. It has over 67 million views on YouTube. It's crazy. A few months later, they actually followed up this commercial with one within the LikeAGirl campaign. It was called Unstoppable. That's one where they asked girls to write on boxes what other people have said they can't do. And then they get to destroy those boxes. And it's a beautiful visual that I totally support. Then the following year in 2016, Nanette Bernstein was the director, and they did a LikeAGirl. They called it Keep Playing. That was the next, stay in sports. Don't quit sports. And they did a few different spots because it was during the Olympics, and they had a soccer player, Alex Morgan, who you love.
I love her.
Yes.
I love her and Megan Rapinoe.
There you go.
I love her.
I'm sure Megan will show up in some of these commercials as well. But Alex was in some Always commercials for the Keep Playing ad, and she would interview other young girls that were in sports and, of why they keep playing. It looks like the LikeAGirl campaign ended in 2017. With Keep Going. And in that one, they talk about how failure is fuel. And I really, really support that message because it's something that I'm like, this is a little trick of the, the trick of the trade that nobody really tells you about. I didn't learn about failure as fuel until I turned 30. So I am all about getting that message out earlier to young girls, please. But I thought the ad campaign was really cool because it changed the conversation around the phrase LikeAGirl. It was something that was kind of becoming so ingrained in our culture, we really didn't think about it. I mean, I was... by rah-rah feminism, I was talking about women filmmakers. We were starting Web kind of actually around that time, which is the precursor to Gal's Guide. And I even started to realize that, I still call things like wife beaters. White tank tops, I'll still call it a wife beater. Hold on a second. That's almost a version of LikeAGirl. What is it? Turning around, I used to call it flipping a bitch. Or I don't know what to call this one, but it's that circular plate. It's called Lazy Susan.
Lazy Susan.
What do you call it instead?
Jeez.
So it's like these are different things that are so ingrained that until you really kind of like think about it and put your finger on it, you're like, oh, okay. Let me change what I call that, or let me just challenge myself a little bit. And I felt like that's what the commercial did. It kind of awoke into when you say LikeAGirl, what are you really saying? Yeah. So did you guys see this commercial? I know it's kind of a little bit on the way backs.
I watched them on the thingy.
What, do you remember when it came out, or did you just recently?
No, I didn't hear about it until you said you were doing this.
Sweet. Well, I'm glad to spare awareness then.
I loved at the end of the one with the boxes.
Yes.
At the very end, when she's knocking over
the
whole
wall
screen of the boxes.
Yes.
Yeah. There's just this little black girl with the pigtails. She's just
staring
like,
down the camera.
Exactly. She's like, I knocked down all of these barriers in my way. It's super powerful.
Have you guys seen those things where they take LikeAGirl and they show women just being tough and motivated and all of that? How do you feel about that? Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a specific example to refer to, but you know, I almost think it's more like memes where you're like, oh, like a girl, like this?
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah,
is what
exactly.
we do, and it's intense.
Yes. Oh,
my
absolutely.
mind goes to like the childbirth thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
So I grew up in the 90s.
Yes.
So I was very much exposed to the magical girl Sailor Moon.
Ah.
And there's a few going around that it's fight like a girl. And
right.
It's Sailor Moon. She's
See?
fighting. And one of them, she's got like her hands bandaged up like she's a boxer and she's like bloody. Like there's a few of those going around that I'm like, yeah.
You mean like this? Yes, absolutely. No, I love those and I support those and I try to save those. Exact. Did you see the ad when it came out? Do you remember it?
I don't remember it when it came out. Sorry.
It might have been when you were in your turning butter. It might have been at that time.
I think it was around about that time when I used to live without electricity.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Cotton Prairie's so close.
We used to live there for a couple years.
She wanted to have it at home all the time, just in case.
No, but I think that's amazing, and I think that's an important thing to pay attention to too. That there's such a shift during that,
right? That age,
yeah, and I, it's really hard, but this is a little bit of a skipping subject.
Yeah,
well, not really subject, but with my son being 7,
yeah,
he already has internalized that. You know, girl things are bad and boy things
right.
are good.
Yeah, he's gone beyond the separate. It's two different things to wait, one's good, one's bad. Yeah.
Right.
I'm on this side of the fence. Right.
This is where I am. And I mean, he's pretty open-minded still, but I just saw it when he started going to school. He would bring it back. And I remember one day at preschool, he came home and he was really upset and he said, I had to sit by a girl today, but I sucked it up and I did it. I was like,
you're like,
what?
Welcome to the real world?
Yeah. There's a lot of us, and we're amazing.
And
so
you want to sit next to a girl.
Right. Oh, how quickly it all changes.
Yeah, and he definitely has more guy friends. He's not, you know what I mean? But I definitely try to keep the conversation open to like, we're all have so much to offer, and we're all amazing.
Right.
And all of that, but that's not the message he gets from society in general. So I think having more of these advertisements in the mainstream is essential.
Right, yeah. To help change perceptions. Then again, he and I had an awesome conversation about Valkyrie. That boy's obsessed with Valkyrie, and I fully support this.
No, I mean, I have so much hope for our newer generations, and sometimes it's even just seeing him. Like the other day, I was asking, you know, do you think when you're ready to get crushes? Because right now he only loves his mom.
There you go. He's 7. It's the age of reason. It's fine.
Well, there's some kids in his grade that have boyfriends and girlfriends, but
I think they're just
love
following.
but mom.
Yeah. There you go. Nice.
More of that stereotype, right? But if I say something like, "Do you think you're gonna like boys more or girls more, or maybe just not want boyfriends or girlfriends?" And he'll be like, I just don't know yet. But he's not horrified. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
there you go.
In his world, his mind's very open to the fact that there's not 2 choices, and you have to.
Right,
you know
there's
what I mean?
a
There's only
myriad
one
of options out there. One would say there's a rainbow of options.
So trying to tie that back in, I feel like parents these days, I hope are more open-minded, and there's definitely a pocket of kids, and I've learned that from him going to school. I don't know. Do you find that to be true, Cammie?
You go to a very weird school.
I know you've been doing
I gave up on public school after 6th grade because I don't like people.
Fair. She did come from my body.
Yeah. I had a not really technically a boyfriend from 3rd grade to 6th grade.
Right.
Which I look back on and immediately want to bury.
It's fine. We all have it at some point.
It was a weird thing. And yeah, it was most of my friends because of that were guys.
Right, yeah.
And so, yeah.
Most of my friends going in school were guys too, so.
Do you feel like people, though, were open-minded? Like, if people wanted boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, or do you think it was pretty...
I wasn't exposed to that. Yeah. Everyone seemed to be straight. I wasn't exposed. There wasn't... Nobody talked about it. It was just... You just do what's expected, and that was what was expected. I just didn't get that exposure, and I think I left before I would have actually gotten it.
Yeah.
Before, middle and high school.
Where relationships actually become a thing where it's, oh, you need a girlfriend or boyfriend. Right the hell now.
Well, where there's like, a dance. Which everybody starts to pair up once there's a dance. If there's no dance, there's no pairing up. You need like an event to start the mating ritual, apparently, in elementary school and middle school. It's like, wait a second. See?
Well, I definitely remember being that age, like 10, and being like, I'm going to kick ass.
See?
I definitely remember when I didn't feel so confined.
Right, exactly. I do remember when I started shrinking. Like, I don't remember the super confidence. It's really weird. Like, my super confidence didn't come till I was 30. So, like, before that, it's just a myriad of, oh, can I exist? Is my voice okay? Am I in your way? Like, it was that until 30, basically. But I remember trying to get smaller and smaller and not take up too much room and not be a burden on anybody and all that. And be like, you know what? I'm not the model that's on the cover of the magazine, so I'll just be over here in the corner. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. So I remember getting smaller. But yeah, no, I love 30s and then 40s, and then I can't wait for fucking 50s. I'm just saying, it's very freeing so far.
And I remember being really like a shy child. Like, I remember Mom was wanting to drop me off at the front of the grocery store to go grab milk, and I didn't want to do it because I knew I'd have to talk to the cashier.
Right.
Be like, how are you? And I was like, no.
I think you just described Cammy's worst nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
There's even self-checkout now.
Both of my personalities live together. My fear of ever having to talk to people.
Right.
And just trying to be polite to everyone and trying to generally stay out of the way. And then it's, but I can do this. And so it's both of them somehow coexist. And it's quite strange because one moment I will walk in after trying my absolute best to read books and be like, I need to tell you how much I hate this.
Right.
Or I need to tell you how much I hate the world right now. When it's other times it's just, I'm just going to sit here and have no meaning in the world. This is my purpose. To sit right here and stare at this bookshelf.
And that is fine. You get to do that too.
And they coexist somehow.
No,
and it's quite strange.
In middle school, it was like a thing when you got your school photos back.
Oh, okay.
All the girls were, oh, I don't like my hair.
Oh, no.
Oh, I look so fat. Like,
the self-critique.
It was never any good things ever. And it was like a social thing where if you like didn't bash yourself, you were like stuck up or something. I remember being like, this is weird.
Did you ever see the Amy Schumer, I'm just going to say it's a skit. It probably is from the show. You know the one I'm talking about. Okay. When they don't insult themselves.
Like, I look like a Russian rug seller or something.
They had the best insults for themselves, but then the one gal who's just like, no, I think I look great. Oh!
Yeah. It's great. Yeah. And I have a girl at work, and she just every single day it's, oh, I don't like my hair. And I'm always like, say something nice about yourself.
Right,
and
yes.
She can't think of a single thing. And I'm like, come on.
Right.
Every day.
They usually say you need 5 positive things to replace 1 negative thing because the brain obsesses on the negative thing like it's something to fix. But if it's not actually something you can fix, you need like 5 positive things to counteract it.
I wonder if it's like the line is just that they think negatively of themselves, or if it's the fishing for compliments.
Right. Why can't it be both?
Because I don't play that
validation.
Game.
Yeah. But at the same time, not liking yourself enough to believe, that, you're the cat's pajamas. So you kind of need it from other people. Yeah. Well, that wraps it up for Advertising Month. We're off next week for Labor Day. So join us September 9th with a new group of gal pals who are going to call Lights, Camera, Action for Movie Month. For show notes, links, and images from this week's show, visit galsguide.org. Want exclusive stuff like deleted bits and major bloopers? Become a Gals Guide patron today. Thanks for listening.